What can parish pastoral councils do? First of all, know your job. Know what your ministry really is and stick to it. A parish pastoral council is about strategic planning and strategic discernment of spirits together. Your ministry is to look into the future and to ask the right questions. What is our mission? Why are we needed? By whom are we needed now? You have to ask yourself, who are we serving? And who have we written off? Be disciplined about that mission. Now, I'm not saying write a mission statement. You know what happens to those. You spend months and months doing them. They take a lot of energy. You put them on, you frame them, put them on the wall, bless them once a year, and then do what you were going to do anyway. I think sometimes it's more helpful, and you have to make this decision, sometimes it's helpful for groups to do directional statements. What direction do we want to move in? You have to do your analysis, your demographic analysis of who's in your neighborhood. It's amazing to me as director, when I was director of planning for Boston, I go to parish after parish and they say, oh, there are no young people in this neighborhood. And I've had our mission insight, demographic analysis and say, oh yes they are. Actually they're in this neighborhood, this neighborhood, this neighborhood. They're just not coming to your church. It's a big difference. So do the demographic analysis, and you don't have to do much. You got the tools already, that you can have a report of who's in your neighborhood, what are their ages, what are their economic levels, ethnicities, cultures, etc. Commit yourself to excellence. Mediocrity should not be a goal of a Catholic parish today. It always starts with a worthy mission, something that's going to stretch you. I've heard too many pastors in my time who said, Father, I just want to get through. I'll leave it to the next guy. Now, I can understand the tiredness. I really do. There are a lot of priests who are tired. In the Archdiocese of Boston, we graciously grant retirement at the age of 75. And some of our protesters would say, well, keep my parish open, he can stay till 85. I'm not sure that's the right solution. Start with standards of excellence. The National Leadership Roundtable on Church Management has published 55 standards of excellence for pastoral management. You don't have to do this work. It's already been done for you. Keep yourself committed to excellence. To move ahead, Catholics have to address what is hurting us, one of the things that's hurting us the most, polarization. Peter Steinfels in 2004 said that the church is stymied, paralyzed by acrimony and polarization. Conservatives accusing liberals of being heretics and liberals accusing conservatives of being theological Neanderthals. When I used to work in Marriage Encounter, we used to tell the couples, we know you're going to fight. All we want you to do is fight fair. And we taught them rules about how to fight fair. No name calling. No ancient history. And by ancient, we mean more than 24 hours ago. No family comparisons. You're just like your mother. Never going to work, guys. And we used to tell them to hold hands while they fought. The most difficult thing of all. We figured at least they wouldn't throw anything. But it would do one thing. It would keep them focused on the relationship. And that's true for Catholics. That sometimes in our fighting with one another, across parish councils and across the parish, we forget the relationship that we have as Catholics. We forget that we are supposed to be the alternative social space in society that is the alternative to the ordinary of violence in the world. We're supposed to be the peaceful ones. We're supposed to be the beloved community of Christ. We need to learn how to deal with conflict. And a lot of parish councils don't really yet have the tools for conflict transformation. They get paralyzed by their conflict. 40% of people who leave churches leave because of conflict. And those conflicts are not over doctrine. They're over interpersonal issues. The great thing as pastoral council members is that the fights we have are relatively boring. You know, they're at least pretty understandable. We know what we fight about. Money, growth or decline, trust, the style of the pastor's leadership, the style of lay leadership, the pace of change, sexuality and intimacy, who's inside, who's outside, who's got the corner room. Unresolved conflicts debilitate a church. So one of the things I would recommend is that we learn how to bring in conflict management people, people who have expertise in helping pastoral staffs and parish councils move beyond those intractable conflicts. As the director of planning for Boston, we've had a few conflicts. I really shouldn't joke about it because there is so much pain. There is so much anger and rage among Catholics who go to church, not just those who don't. And because as an archdiocesan official, I would be sometimes the first person that they would actually have an opportunity to scream at, to be enraged at. It takes a little getting used to be the subject of rage that you didn't cause, but you know where it's coming from. And so one of the things that I did this year was become a certified mediator, to learn new techniques, new tools on how to listen to conflict and how to find the place of common concern. And I would recommend that to you. Boston, like many dioceses across the country, is going to be going through some crises. Every diocese will. We need to tell the truth about what's going on. In the Archdiocese of Boston today, we have 386 priests for 290 parishes. In less than 10 years, we will have 185. 185 priests. But we're also at a situation where we are losing about 60 to 80% of our lay ecclesial ministers. We're losing a generation of very experienced professional people, DREs, pastoral associates. And Boston has one of the most effective schools of theology to train lay people. But the problem is we can't pay them. And so we're likely to lose them if we don't do something differently. %40 of our parishes can't pay their bills. And many of the parishioners in those parishes say, so what? Have the bishop send more money. And I keep trying to tell them, Cardinal O'Connell is not sitting in the vault counting gold bullion cubes anymore. There is no money back there. And why is there no money back there? Because the real problem, attendance rates. The Archdiocese of Boston in the 1950s, 70% of Catholics went to church on a regular basis. We are now down to 15.6%. It's a little better than yours, a little worse than yours, rather, which is about, what, 34%. But we were where you are. And you may say, well, you had a big scandal, Father, and you had reconfiguration. But the largest attrition didn't happen after the scandals. We lost most of our people between the years of 1990 and 1994. Look at the numbers of young people who are not going to church. The numbers that I gave you before are a signal that if you're not paying attention to young adults, we're all headed to a place called France, where 5% of Catholics go to church on any regular basis. We have the opportunity, we have the skills, we have the energy, we have the creativity, we have the spirit that can turn the situation around. But it's going to take work and pastoral imagination to do it. So tonight, I want to encourage you that Catholicism remains an exciting faith. No matter what the signs look like, no matter how difficult it seems. I remember one line about that scene in the Gospels where the waves are high and the seas are turbulent. It says that no matter how high the waves, they're always under Christ's feet. We ought not to give in to a theology of diminishment and just expect the church to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Because that theology of diminishment comes to us from an economics of diminishment that guides our life. And a belief in a God of scarcity, that a God who doesn't love us enough, who's not giving enough, who is not generous enough. But as a Franciscan, I can't buy into it. Because we believe in a God of abundance, a God who is good, supremely good all the time, and to everyone. So I want to thank you tonight for all the good that you do for God. And thanks for being the beloved community of Christ here in Pittsburgh. God bless you.